Hello, I mean, I'm like, what man doesn't understand what I'm saying? And that's where we get into a bigger, broader subject about what pissed me off about how pathetic this industry can be at times. Don't act like you don't agree with me. Don't act like you don't see, meaning you don't see what I'm saying. Don't act like I'm out of left field as a man.
So I assumed that Mayweather was gonna see so much cash, and if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
Why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say he can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied.
Stephen A. Smith calls out Floyd Mayweather for careless spending after a Business Insider article revealed his money troubles, saying Floyd should have managed his wealth smarter by saving and investing instead of squandering his huge earnings.
Make sure you develop your own lobbyist, right? And it's an abundance of y'all. And y'all have the capital to influence government. But you're not thinking like that because it involves real work and it involves a real conscientious thought. RC might have that. I might have that.
Stephen A. Smith calls out Floyd Mayweather for careless spending after a Business Insider article revealed his money troubles, saying Floyd should have managed his wealth smarter by saving and investing instead of squandering his huge earnings. He also shared a throwback video showing Floyd in his prime, proudly displaying his collection of luxury cars, expensive watches, and extravagant belongings inside his lavish home, highlighting just how much he flaunted his fortune at the height of his career.
It's about, working smarter, not harder.
I see that picture. Who is that?
And that's where it all started from.
That's you?
That's me. This picture is old school. I got the old school gloves on. And this is made of carpet, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in a boxing ring in Grand Rapids, Michigan at Tawasi Boxing Club. That's where it all started from.
But you knew instantly you wanted to be a fighter.
That's all I knew. My whole life. That's all I knew.
What's your definition to toy?
Well, private jet, Enzo.
Harry Spears criticized Floyd Mayweather's reckless spending, comparing it to Mike Tyson's financial struggles, and emphasized how even the most successful athletes can face serious consequences from poor money choices.
The house I was hanging out at was one of like the OG jewelers. Like these are the, one of the jewelers that supplies like all the other jewelers, right? And he told me that Mayweather is broke.
I keep hearing this.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true.
I don't think it's
But he said that based on his spending and so forth, this is why these fights are happening now. That he needs to make some money back. That the spending has outpaced the money that, the money
he's been retired.
Right.
And he's still, flying to Monaco with a bad bitch, buying up half the store.
Right. Always flying private.
Yeah.
Does he have his own plane?
Yeah, he does.
He does, right. So that's massively expensive. Even if you own it, the upkeep is huge. Right. Plus all the properties, all the property tax. Yeah, I mean, if you're not properly invested, because there was he was saying that he bought this building in the Diamond District, but people are saying that's, the same jeweler said that's actually not true.
Right.
So there's been a lot of stuff like that. Listen, I hope not, man, but I remember I interviewed Tyson. He lost like $300 million.
Business expert Grant Cardone criticized Floyd Mayweather, saying that poor investments and reckless spending kept him from achieving long-term financial stability and growth.
Floyd Mayweather's got 22 million people following him, but is it any good? Like I don't know what it does with him. Like, does it do business with him? Does it transact with him? I know guys with big followings. There's nothing happens as a result of the following.
So you on the is Floyd rich or is Floyd broke? Which side?
I don't know. I think Floyd ends up broke.
Ends up broke
if he doesn't. It's not a Floyd thing. It's not a Floyd thing. It's an asset thing. If you don't end up in assets, you end up broke.
Yeah.
So because you can't keep fighting forever.
So if Floyd was watching right now, what would you say to him?
Floyd, you need to spend as much time working on your investments as you do in Neiman Marcus or the Gucci store, the Fendi store.
He could just invest with you, though, right?
He could invest to Cardone Capital. I would ensure that he's a billionaire.
Wow.
You cannot become a billionaire without it.
DJ Academics reacted to Business Insider's report on Floyd Mayweather, claiming he has unpaid Mercedes bills and several other financial obligations that he allegedly hasn't settled.
I'm financially set. I want to let everybody know this. He said in 2021, every property I have is paid for. My jet, paid for. All my cars is paid for. I own $1 billion buildings. Everything is no longer paid for. They're exposing him if you don't know. Mayweather took out millions of dollars in mortgages on his homes last year. A Business Insider review shows he also faced a string of lawsuits and liens that say he owes money for a Mercedes Maybach G-Wagon. Wait, they make Maybach G-Wagons? What the jet fuel, which obviously is for his jet, and garbage collection at his Las Vegas mansion. So it looks like they've pulled all his debt. At the same time, he's trumpeted a major entry into the big league. Commercialized real estate. Starting in the fall of 2024, Mayweather talked about spending blitz on commercial property in New York through his newly formed real estate firm.
Wade Plemon pointed out that Floyd Mayweather made huge earnings during his career, but smarter financial choices and better money management could have ensured long-term stability.
Because he owed so much money to them and had apparently not much of it in liquidity, not much that he could actually spend, or at least that's what his representative said. His representatives wrote back to the IRS, it's a true story, you guys can look it up, that he could not make the payment. He couldn't do it. He didn't have $22 million liquid in cash. For a guy that had made, up until that point, let's just say $900 million, because he made $300 million fighting Conor, he didn't have $22 million sitting around in a bank for all that cash he's flexing, for all those cars, for all the places. And again, I'm not saying that multi-millionaires and billionaires have $1 billion liquid, but you couldn't have found 22 mil. So his representative said, wait, we're going to have this fight, and then he'll pay you after the fight.
Stephen A. Smith calls out Floyd Mayweather for careless spending after a Business Insider article revealed his money troubles, saying Floyd should have managed his wealth smarter by saving and investing instead of squandering his huge earnings. He also shared a throwback video showing Floyd in his prime, proudly displaying his collection of luxury cars, expensive watches, and extravagant belongings inside his lavish home, highlighting just how much he flaunted his fortune at the height of his career. Ari Spears criticized Floyd's reckless spending, comparing it to Mike Tyson's financial struggles and warning how even top athletes can face serious consequences from poor money choices. Business expert Grant Cardone added that poor investments and careless spending prevented Floyd from achieving long-term financial stability and growth. DJ Academics reacted to reports claiming Floyd has unpaid Mercedes bills and several other unresolved financial obligations. Wade Plemon noted that despite Floyd earning massive amounts during his career, smarter financial decisions and better money management could have secured lasting stability. Beyond finances, Floyd consistently presents himself as the ultimate boxing great, insisting no one matches his skill or accomplishments. While confidence is important in sports, his non-stop self-promotion often irritates fans, peers, and analysts, coming across as arrogance. Critics argue that his constant boasting can overshadow his real achievements, making it seem like he values image over legacy. Still, his success in the ring is undeniable, with numerous wins and titles, but his public persona, marked by flaunting wealth and superiority, ensures that admiration is always mixed with skepticism and criticism.
I'm separated now. I don't think there's no boxer in history that has accomplished what I've accomplished. Not bragging or boasting, just speaking the truth. I take my hat off to a lot of legendary champions, that paved the way for me to be where I'm at in the sport of boxing. But that was their era, and this is my era. I had a tremendous career. And we got young fighters that's on the rise, that's under our banner. The ultimate goal is to find the next Floyd Mayweather that can break my records.
So is Gervonta Davis.
Sonnen points out that the spotlight fades and an athlete's prime years are limited, leaving many fighters unprepared for life after the ring. Without careful planning, smart investments, or backup career options, even top athletes can face financial struggles once their competitive edge declines. Boxing may be highly lucrative at its peak, but it offers little long-term security if money isn't managed wisely. Mayweather's situation highlights this reality, showing that fame and skill alone can't ensure lifelong wealth without discipline, planning, and strategic foresight.
Boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company, who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner. You've never heard Cox. You've never heard DirecTV. You have never heard...
Dan Laird highlights Floyd Mayweather's ongoing financial struggles, noting that as of February 2026, he has filed a $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza to recover funds and stabilize his finances. Over his career, Mayweather reportedly earned over $1.2 billion from fight earnings alone, an incredible amount, but Laird points out that his equally massive spending has contributed to his current financial challenges.
Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings from fights.
Yeah. I think a question, though, that you should also ask, outside of like how much has he made, is how much has he spent? You know? Because I would say he's fully capable of spending close to $1 billion in the last 25 years.
You say that, but I not to turn into the movie Brewster's Millions from the 1980s. It's hard to spend that money. It really is hard to spend that much money and end up in a situation where you have to fight at 49 because you're so used to a lifestyle that brings in giant amounts of money that the only way for you to make a giant amount of money is to do what he's presently doing.
Floyd Mayweather is believed to have spent nearly $1 billion over the past 25 years on an extravagant lifestyle filled with luxury cars, jewelry, designer clothing, and high-end experiences, making it difficult even for someone with his earnings to maintain long-term wealth. Lebout compares this to the movie Brewster's Millions, showing how overspending can push someone to take unexpected actions, like returning to the ring at 49 just to generate income. He also notes that much of Mayweather's fortune came from public fascination, with fans watching to see if he could lose, highlighting the huge influence of celebrity culture and spectacle in boxing.
Is something that somehow will make money because people will still want to watch if Floyd Mayweather can lose, because that's where he made his $1.2 billion. He made it in us watching to see if he'd lose.
I don't even think, like, it's just celebrity boxing is so popular because we are obsessed with celebrity culture, and this is the rare reality show in which we can see people fight, you know? Like, oh, wouldn't it be...
DJ Academics reports that Floyd Mayweather claimed to own a $42 million portfolio of rent-regulated Manhattan buildings, but property records show no clear ownership. Over the past 18 months, 2 of his commercial properties were foreclosed, and he risked losing his Las Vegas business, the Girl Collection, over more than $52,000 in back taxes. He has also faced lawsuits for unpaid luxury items like watches and high-end jewelry, and creditors pursued his Gulfstream jet, Air Mayweather, which he sold in December along with Beverly Hills mansions. Experts warn that without strong professional guidance, even Mayweather's wealth is at serious risk.
Real estate conference with a session titled Real Estate Knockout, the Floyd Mayweather Strategy. Give me one second. The Floyd Mayweather Strategy. The big talk doesn't always end in big deals, though. Business Insider found. Chat, they're exposing them. Mayweather's social media last year promoted an article that he reported that he made $100 million in his portfolio of a Manhattan luxury high-rise apartment towers owned by the Go Partners. People with knowledge of this investment said Mayweather put a nominal sum late last year and did not invest further, and his initial equity in the deal was later absorbed by the Go Partners, leaving him with no stake. The portfolio of the buildings was eventually spun off into a publicly traded entity. In February, Mayweather also said he bought a portfolio in a rent-regulated apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan for $402 million, declaring that all the buildings belong to me. I don't got no partners. Business Insider previously reported that there were no property records showing an outright or majority.
DJ Vlad highlights Floyd Mayweather's financial habits, sharing that a prominent jeweler suggested he may be struggling due to years of extravagant spending. During his prime, Mayweather flaunted his wealth with luxury cars, high-end watches, and lavish possessions, projecting an image of unmatched riches. Yet, DJ Vlad points out reports of unpaid debts to jewelers and other vendors, indicating that not all of his flashy displays were fully supported by actual cash or assets.
I would think that your investments would continue to grow,
right?
As long as you keep your spending under wraps. Like right now, like I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever,
right?
And with my investments, you know, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling.
This gap between appearance and reality highlights an important lesson in financial management. Even someone seen as the richest in boxing can face serious risks. DJ Vlad emphasizes that Mayweather's situation serves as a warning for athletes and celebrities who put luxury and status above careful money planning. Even massive earnings can be wasted through poor financial choices, and looking at Mayweather's extravagant lifestyle alongside reported debts shows the real challenges elite athletes face in preserving long-term wealth when flashy displays are prioritized over sustainable financial strategies.
Told me that Mayweather is in financial problems.
See, here's the part about actually losing your money when you're on that level and you're, you know, kind of like flossing, showing off. Nobody gives a shit. Like there are people actually praying for you to be broke. And then when you do go broke, that's what people are going to say. Yeah. Oh, well, you know, you should have invested better. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to give him any loans. So now, you know, we might see Mayweather doing.
People will give him some loans.
Maybe.
You know, listen, he's cozying up to Israel. That's
but
not
the
an
thing
accident.
about it is, what I mean, he had Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And he was hosting a big, you know, he had Gervonta Davis under his cars. And so that's a like
yeah, but
De La
look what
Hoya
happened
does.
to Gervonta.
Right. So if you can
yeah.
sustain that, you don't ever have to box again. But now has to take fights because, you know, when you floss like Mayweather, you can't go down.
Yeah.
You got to stay right there because people are going to peep any kind of chinks in your armor if you're not wearing 3 or 4 big $1 million diamond chains.
Among Floyd Mayweather's many legal battles, one surprising case involved unpaid bills for luxury jewelry. A Miami-based jeweler claimed that Mayweather received high-value pieces without completing payment, revealing a side of him that contrasts sharply with his public image of immense wealth. While fans and media focus on his flashy cars, designer watches, and lavish lifestyle, incidents like this highlight potential issues with financial management and accountability. Lawsuits over unpaid luxury items show that even those with massive earnings can struggle with financial discipline. This case, involving high-end jewelry, drew attention because it directly challenged Mayweather's persona of opulence and raised questions about long-term planning, responsible spending, and the risks of prioritizing image over smart financial decisions.
Now, a Miami jeweler that goes by the name of Leonard Suleymanov is like, give me my money. Give me my money. So he is hitting Floyd Mayweather with a huge lawsuit. Y'all, we're talking about a cool $4 million for some luxurious watches and diamonds that Floyd supposedly forgot to pay for. Y'all know he forget to cash checks. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? He might have forgot to pay for it for real. So even, y'all tell me if I'm saying.
Early in his career, Floyd Mayweather reinvented himself by changing his nickname from Pretty Boy Floyd to Floyd Money Mayweather, reflecting not just confidence in his skills, but a strong belief that he was destined to become a billionaire. The new name symbolized luxury, success, and financial power, which he fully embraced by showcasing wealth through expensive cars, designer clothes, and lavish possessions. Fans and critics often saw him as the ultimate example of opulence in sports, a figure who flaunted his achievements and stirred both admiration and envy. Over time, his extravagant lifestyle became a defining part of his public image, drawing praise, jealousy, and criticism all at once.
This is Money Mayweather, not Pretty Boy Floyd. You see, in boxing, usually people have like an alter ego, the character they play. He had to change his character from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money because Pretty Boy Floyd had a problem. You need to listen. Now, the problem was he was tiny, but more than that, his hands were tiny. Now, I don't know much about JB, but I know he ain't big. And them boy got the same frame. That's twinning him. Now, let me be more specific. It wasn't his hands so much that were tiny. tiny. It's that they were brittle. It's believed to be genetic because his dad broke his hand and his uncle broke his hand. Yeah, they were all boxers and them boys could throw hands. But that does not mean he had it easy. You see, his dad sold a bunch of stuff and his mom did a bunch of stuff. So to escape his traumatic childhood, all he would do is train day in and day out. He said, I had to take care of my mom. But he trained so much because it's all he knew that his hands started.
Recent revelations about Floyd Mayweather's financial struggles have changed public perception, as some take satisfaction in seeing someone once seen as untouchable now face challenges. His past displays of wealth had sparked envy and resentment, and this shift highlights the complexities of fame and fortune, showing that even the richest athletes can be vulnerable.
He breaks his hand. It turns out that both of his hands were severely injured. They told him, Floyd, you not boxing anymore. He said, nah, I'm finna box. They said, no, you're not hearing me. The problem is you already beat everybody your size. Listen, Floyd had a bigger issue. He needed to start boxing people that were way bigger than him because everybody his size couldn't hang with him. So if his hands were breaking against smaller guys, against bigger guys, he better have no arms. So Mayweather's team said we need to switch things up. This dude, Mayweather's promoter, said switch things. What not? Everything's saying the same, stupid. He said unless y'all got $750K to exit your contract, it's done. Mayweather said here. He said what? I don't pay you that much. Mayweather said, I've been saving up for this day. He said, oh, okay, big dog, you got it. So they devised a plan. Go from Pretty Boy to Money. See, Pretty Boy loved to throw hands, but Money was a defensive specialist. In fact, he's easily considered as the greatest defensive boxer of all time. But that wasn't the only reason he changed.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.